Shout out to my girl Mila Grow Grams, Mob Radio, for covering the press conference with Busby Law Firm in California. Any victims out there, dial 1-800 200 7474 to give your story. But I want to first start by praying. Ask the Most High, bless and cover those who were truly victimized by any entertainer in this ring. And I ask that they be truly forthright and honest, not for a dollar, but for justice, for the kingdom of heaven. Amen. Now, why am I covering? Well, let me give you a background story about who I am. I've been an entertainer all my life. From 3 years old, my mom and dad, I was a dancer, tap, jazz, ballet. Miss Beth's Dance Studio, Niagara Falls, New York. And then as I grew older, I got involved in, what was the next thing? Cheerleading. And I was that girl. I was the only black that girl. I was the only that black girl across the board. So I went from cheerleading, I went from dance to cheerleading, and then added to my schedule outside of just going to school, dancer, cheerleader, added to that track and field, third fastest in Western New York. And then added on top of that, I created a drill team, step team, similar to what Beyonce portrayed in her tour, BAK, as a stepper or, creating a alum or whatever. The name of my step team was rather unique. Mr. Brown, of Buffalo, New York, has all the footage of our competitions. Um, I've always placed first, second, and sometimes third, but you know, like the Beyonce depicts, and in her videos and things like that, prettying, with the trophies and all that. That was me. But anyway, moving forward, this is about the victims. But I want to give you backstory so you know where I'm coming from. So 17, no, 17, I left my hometown and I moved to New York City. Actually, I moved to Middletown, New York with my Uncle Wood and my Aunt Fifi. And got into a situation with my Uncle Wood, and I left there, Middletown, and went and just found my way in New York City. And I lived in New York City 20 years. And I always wanted to be a star. And this is how you know you're chosen, anointed, disabled. Because when you have a crazy talent, when you can contend with Aaliyah, Janet Jackson on a dance level, and Beyonce, that's no competition. Um, and you just got your own personal talent and just nobody can play with you. Um, but you're being rejected. It's so crazy how I'm finding, like how we're seeing the revelation is now. Okay. The revelation is now. So long story short, I moved to New York City. I lived in Queens. No, Long Island. I'll never forget my first landlord. Big shout out to Shotgun. He was my big brother. Some things happened while I was under his care, renting a room. But I went to York College. I went to Mercy College in New York City. But I went to York College. I worked in Jamaica, Queens at a beauty salon. Shout out to Marcia at, on Guy Brewer and Jamaica Avenue. I was a hairstylist there, trying to work my way through college. I did what, 2 semesters there. Um, that I had to, after that I left Queen. Why did I leave Long I left Long Island. Then I got a spot in Westchester, Mount Vernon. And shout out to Sanford Boulevard, the salon over there, and working with, the stylist. I was a hairstylist in that salon. Shout out to World Tour and listen, the names are the names, the stylists for, yeah, Diddy, this, that, and the other. The names are, shout out to the people that just show me love. I was definitely in an element of just trying to make my mark. And I definitely did some things that um I'm not the proudest of, but I'm happy it happened. I'm happy it happened across the board because um my story can help a lot of people tell their story. So the crazy thing is I ended up out in Mount Vernon. And I was dating this guy, ended up moving in with him in his grandmother's house and got pregnant. Didn't keep the baby. Uh, and then I overheard it. And then his cousin was the writer, was that ghost writer for a mill for Rockefeller. And the reason why I broke up with the dude that I was with, that I, was pregnant by, is because he said some ish to my ex-boyfriend at the time that just broke my heart. Like, and my ex-boyfriend didn't say nothing. And when that happened, when he didn't defend me, it was like the week after I just had I got the money back from my taxes. I just bought a new car, you know what I mean? And it was the week after I got my money back from my taxes, and I just started a job or something like that. And when he didn't defend me, I said, okay. 30, 60 days later, I got quiet. Hey, boo, I love you. Got quiet. 30, 60 days later, I went, got another job at a mortgage company, calling leads back, trying to create loan application, actual factual loan applications for a mortgage company in Westchester, in Yonkers. And uh I was looking for a place to stay because I said, if he's not going to defend me, and I was what? At that time, I moved to New York City when I was 17, 17, 18, 19. I was like 19 years old. Oh, yeah, because when the first apartment I had in Mount Vernon, right off of Sanford Boulevard, right by, it was the first performance that Eve ever performed at. It was a track and field. It was like a little baseball park across street from the new Target that's in Mount Vernon right now. That's where Eve had. That's the first time I've ever seen Eve perform. It was just crazy. But I had an apartment, a basement apartment right up the street from there. And the little girl, my landlord's daughters, and this is, I'm 18, I'm 19. My landlord's daughter used to try to torture me. Like, she used to do shit like, I don't know how she knew I hated a certain thing, but she would put shit in, excuse my language, in front of my door. You know what I mean? So like, in the kitchen, on the kitchen, like she would do stuff. And finally the apartment flooded. And then when the apartment flooded, that's how I met my ex, whose cousin, who used to write for a mill, was talking crap about me, and I ended up leaving him, and I found my place. I got a new place after I had this company this job at a mortgage company in Yonkers, 354, which ended up being D Block, basically where D Block, Jada Kiss, Styles P, my brothers, Chic Luch, Bully, RO Big, just the whole ROB family. Literally, like, Yonkers like gave me like my girl Heather, like Heather, Trina, like, yo, Shanae, my goddaughter. Oh man, like, these was the best years of my life, and I went through hell. I didn't. I went through. I didn't go through hell. It was a good time because that I was in my prime. I was in my 20s. Like, so when I got to Yonkers, I was like, Had to be 20. And it was a single one bedroom apartment, and I lived there for almost 10 years. And from there, from moving in, I really got adapted to the culture. So I started really just delving into how I can just make my mark in the industry. So I started going to dance class. I started out at a dance company in Harlem, KR3T. Shout out to Violetta. Keep rising to the top. And with Violetta, she's the main choreographer in Harlem. Yo, I don't know what was I doing in Harlem that day? I don't know, but I seen a group of kids walking down the street. And I pulled over. I was like, "What y'all doing? Where y'all going?" They was like, "We going to dance class." I'm like, "This, at that moment, I didn't think it was God, but I realized it was God. Now I realize that was God leading me and guiding me. So boom, and they was like, "Over here, this is what we gonna rehearse at." Da 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 da. So me being a dancer, I couldn't figure out where to go look and find, dance companies to work with. Da da da. Now I'm looking back, I was like, wow, that was God, that was divine intervention. So boom, that they was like, we rehearse here every Saturday and Sunday, something like that. So I went the following week to check it out. So I walk in, with my little skinny size one tail, and when I had to be put on wardrobe by then, cause what was I doing? Because I know I was connected. Oh yeah, my cousin Buddha, who passed from cancer, he had recently had just done. He was the guy that was flexing his pecs in the Moulin Rouge, Little Kim, Missy Elliott, um, uh, Little Kim, Missy Elliott. What's her name? The Brat. He was the one, the light skinned dude flexing his pecs in the video. So he was doing his thing. He was at school at NYU, and I was doing my thing. Like meeting people trying to like become a stylist. You know what I mean? I was in my stylist zone back then. How did I get my first stylist contract? Because I gotta really think this all through because it's just like I gotta really play this back. This is 20 years, 22 years ago. So anyway, I went to the dance studio, and at that point, I was, in my stylist zone. I wasn't thinking about being no rapper because I never really thought I was pretty enough, to be a superstar. I was either I was okay with playing the back because I'm just dope like that. So um I walked in and I was fascinated with the KR3Ts. Like it reminded me of my drill team that I created here, in Western New York for the Buffalo drill team, Drillorama. And because my crew, we was 30 strong, 30 or sometimes 40 strong. Like people used to come try to audition and be a part of it. And then the cheerleading squad was, so I'm used to being around a strong, solid family. You know what I mean? That believes in me for the vision to be executed properly and just like killing it. And so when I seen the character teaser and I seen what Violetta V was doing, I was like, oh wait, hold on. Like this is our thing. This is so I just kept going back and back and back, and honestly, she immediately pulled me in. The owner of the KR3T, she pulled me in to be like her assistant, her PR, her publicist, her web designer. Like I was her stylist. Like she pulled me in. I was like, and I was still trying to find my mark. And I just thank Violetta to this day for what she gave me. This woman, I would go to her house. We would cook. We would talk. We would create choreography. It was just beautiful. Now, the crazy thing is that one of her main we ended up parting ways. I started my own dance company, and before I get to my dance company, under our care, she's worked with so many greats from Daddy Yankee to because she's Spanish, she's Spanish. Violeta Galagarza. I was there. Well, I wasn't there the day that they revealed her billboard in Manhattan, but I had left that by that time. I was, my personal assistant Joseph pulled me all to himself and they said, "You can do this on your own." Da da da. So I'm like, "Why ain't you tripping?" But that's what ended up what happened. But under while I was working with V under our care, Jeremiah's choreographer, and or dancer, and even Kelly Rowland, Valentine Norton, he trained under us, and so many others. What's her name? Oh God, what's her name? The girl in the Omarion. The girl in the Omarion. She came through a couple times, and she just came to encourage the kids and stuff like that. Not Desiree. I don't know why I want to say her name Desiree, but the girl in the Omarion video. The, she's phenomenal, right? So there's so many greats that this like I worked with moving forward, moving throughout, just as I'm building my, journey and just my life in the industry. Little did I know while I was living in Yonkers, before it was D Block, it was just 354 to me on Upper Hand Avenue. I had no idea I was living in the building where, Jada Kiss Styles P and Chic Luch, and they used to frequent and come in and out of it. I had no idea. It really took me, I would say 2 to 3. Let me tell you how I found out. At the downstairs, um, in 354 in the front of the building on Nepperhan, there was always this bodega. And I would always go in there first thing in the morning. I used to get my Nutriment, a banana, and a coffee. That was my breakfast every day for like uh, probably 6, 7 years. That's how I would start my day working in the mortgage industry because I left the first company. I got the job cold calling that, and I got another job at First Source Mortgage in White Plains with my ex-boss Larry Thorpe, and Paulette, and this, that, and the other, Bellateri Infante, the attorneys, and it was they was like family, but they was doing some stuff, and they protected me from it. They kept me from these people kept me from everybody. I ain't even gonna hold you. Everybody kept. I swear to God, everybody kept me from the filth that they was doing. I can't make this up. Now that I look back, it's like these people was doing some shit, and I didn't find out after they got indicted, after they did, but they kept me from. I'm so grateful. I thank God. I don't know how God orchestrated, but it is what it is. Anyway, I didn't find out until like maybe 2.5, 2 years, 3 years into living in Yonkers on Effingham Avenue that um I was living in a building where like some greats that came from. What's his name? What's his the other one? God, there's another rapper, not Dragon from Rough Riders. Anyway, I was too busy in the mortgage business. And even going back to when I was living in Mount Vernon with my ex, I worked at Brick House Studios. I was like a little mama. His daddy was like, "Yo, please work with my daughter, do choreography for her, manage her, coach her, this, that, and the other." And with Pee Wee at Brick House, I hosted a TV show in Mount Vernon up the street from Pee Wee Studio. Like it's so I gotta write a book. But anyway, getting back to, I just so Brick House Studios, working with Little Mama, Soul for Real, um, being in the studio with Dre from Soul for Real. What else? I'm just trying to give y'all a quick backstory of like just my history. I don't even want to get into like it's just like it gets deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. Like from DJ Greenland, it just is so many people that I and I did, I did have the one placement that I did do, and I thank Styles P for trusting me. and it's pretty chocolate white. Like she like I don't even know if she knew how it happened, but honestly, me and Styles P watched Barack Obama win the election. The day he selected the beat that he wrote. Him, Jadakiss, Chic Luch, and Bully wrote the song "My Brothers Keep It To." We smoked. He rolled a blunt. My ex boyfriend was there. He rolled a blunt. We smoked it on my balcony in Yonkers. Oh man, these is moments I wish like you can't get back, but they priceless. And the song is called "Am I My Brother's Keeper?" D Block. That's what they named it, and I'm forever grateful because after years of seeing the whole squad of D Block be in the parking lot, be downstairs in the bodega when I'm going to get coffee in the morning, or after I'm coming from dance her rehearsal, funky as I don't know what, from sweat, this, that, the other. I finally after seeing him so much, I finally got the courage to just approach Styles P and be like, yo, da 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 da, and da 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 da. I'm working with Greenland over here, da da da, and that was it. That was history, right? That right at that moment was history. He came up to my apartment, and I made sure I had my boyfriend there because I ain't about no funny business. My boyfriend was there because he was the manager of the producer of the beat, and he was excited because they had relationships like after Styles selected the beat, you know what I mean. My ex was like, okay, cool. Next thing you know, I'm invited to Lisa Brunson's house in Jersey. That ended up being a shit show, and I don't want to talk about why. Lisa and I know, but I thank you, Lisa Brunson, former president of A&R Def Jam, for showing me the love that you showed me. You didn't have to do that, baby girl, but you did. Um, it was history from there. You know what I mean? They recorded the song, they put out the album, and that was all she wrote. So my history with Bad Boys extensive. Like I managed an artist named Summer. She was a background singer for Carl. We went on tour. It's a lot of stuff that happened, and I'm not gonna get into this, that, and the other. What I'm here's where I'm at with it. There's a lot of things that happens in the music industry, and there's a lot of people who have been victimized. I'm not here to trash bash anybody, but the facts are the facts. And either you're gonna be real about the facts and ask and seek repentance and pass the buck on to the person that it belongs to, or you're not. You're gonna hold this ego and pride and say, well, like listen, in my heart of hearts, I ain't gonna talk about heart of hearts. I think that the people that know me and the names that I've mentioned know how I feel about that guy upstairs and um spirituality in itself. Again, I haven't been perfect. You know what I mean? Um and I'm willing to put all my stuff on the table. Like like if I did that, I did it. I am almost 50 years old right now. You understand what I'm saying? I got 6 more years in my 40s left in my life. My birthday is October the 13th. At the end of the day, I don't care at this point. You're not like, what do I have to lose? But here's what I'm saying to the victims: don't play no games. Don't try to collect no checks because you see it as an opportunity. I'm telling you, karma is not she is a problem. So you collect money that is not yours. You tell stories that is not true. Guess what's gonna happen? I can tell a lot of stories to like, you know, weasel my way. But what's the point? I don't need nobody's money. I don't need clout. At this point, I'm almost 50. I don't need fame. But my bars is the best across the game. Bars. I just did that. But here's what I'm saying. Like at the end of the day, um, I want people to just move with integrity. Integrity. Because you're playing with someone's life, you're playing with someone's future, and you're playing with their kids' future as well. Granted, these people may have been a lot of things. Thieves, just everything negative possible. And I'm not giving grace because it's cleanup time. We've got a war in Israel with Hamas. Okay, Hamas acting a fool out here, thinking that she runs the world, and she doesn't. Okay, she thinks that she's the bride of Christ, and she ain't. Okay, no disrespect to the Islamic community, but at the end of the day, it's cleanup time. It's time for heaven to descend on earth. It's time for those who are upright in heart and righteous and choose to do the right thing to reap the benefits of the promises of the Most High. Are you a part of that? So when you call that number, hey, Mila Grow and Mob Radio, when you call that number and with that attorney or from here, New York, Georgia, Florida, wherever you at, and you want, make sure you remember every face in the room. You call and you report, not just for Diddy, okay? Because if we're gonna clean up, we're gonna clean up. If you go down to the bottom of my Instagram feed, a Hayadea, my Instagram feed starts out with me sweeping the floor. It took a while to get to the sweep, but we sweeping now. I digress. That's my message for the day. Blessings to everybody. Stay prayed up and repent. Love you.